right, let's talk about something that's on a lot of our minds here in India. How do you actually get a steady income from your investments without handing a massive slice of it over to the taxman? That's exactly what we're going to figure out today. I'm going to give you a solid blueprint. So let's dive right in. Yeah, this really is the million rupee question, right? With all the financial complexity out there, it can feel like you're just wandering through a maze, trying to find a safe spot for your money that actually pays you well. But, and this is a big but, you don't have to worry. We've got the map, the blueprint to get you through it. Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll talk about what safe returns even means. Then, we'll check out some of the best safe havens for your cash. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of taxes. Then, we'll help you pick what's right for you. And finally, the best part, we'll build an actual income plan from scratch.
All right, Section 1, the search for safe returns. Let's get this search started. And here's the first thing you absolutely need to remember. That flashy interest rate you see advertised, that's just half the story. The only number that truly, truly matters is what lands in your bank account after the taxman has taken his cut.
And this slide right here, this is the heart of our entire strategy today. You know, it's totally possible for a high-interest investment to give you less actual money than a lower-interest one if the taxes are brutal. So from this point forward, we're laser-focused on one thing and one thing only, the final after-tax return. That's the real score. Okay, now that we're all on the same page about what really matters, let's jump into Section 2, your investment safe havens. We're going to look at three main options for conservative investors in India. And just to make it super easy to keep track, we're going to use a little color coding. Think blue for bank FDs, green for government schemes, and a nice gold for government securities. First up, our blue category, the good old bank fixed deposits. And honestly, the rates are looking pretty good right now. You can see that for senior citizens, there's a nice little bonus. Major banks like HDFC and ICICI are kicking in over 7%. But check this out, some of the small finance banks like Suryoday are pushing past 8%. Plus, remember, your deposits up to 5 lakh rupees are insured by the DICGC, which adds a really solid layer of safety. So, what's the key takeaway here? Simple. Bank FDs are flexible, the rates are competitive, especially for seniors, and they're super reliable. They're a fantastic cornerstone for any conservative portfolio. All right, let's move on to our second safe haven, the one in green, government small savings schemes. Now, the absolute rock star here is the Senior Citizens Savings Scheme, the SCSS. I mean, look at that rate, 8.20%. That's one of the highest safe returns you can get anywhere. Of course, you've also got the super popular PPF at 7.10% and the post office MIS at a very respectable 7.40%. And the bottom line for these, it's pretty straightforward. You're getting some of the best rates out there, and your money is backed by a sovereign guarantee from the government of India. I mean, it literally does not get any safer. And that brings us to our third option. In gold, government securities, or what we call GSECs. Think of it this way. This is you lending money directly to the government. A 10-year GSEC is currently yielding about 6.68%, and if you go longer, say 30 years, you're looking at 7.32%. And the risk? Well, it's zero. It's a direct sovereign guarantee, ultimate safety. So we've got our three safe havens lined up, but now we come to what I think is the most critical part of this whole puzzle, decoding your tax impact. This is where the magic happens. This is how we take a decent plan and make it an absolutely fantastic one. Now, especially if you're a senior citizen, this choice between the old and new tax regimes is a huge deal. Why? Because the old regime has a kind of a secret weapon for investors. It's called tax deductions. And the big one, the one you really need to know about, lets you earn up to 50,000 rupees in interest completely tax-free. You just don't get that with the new regime. Think about what that means. If you're in the 30% tax bracket, that's an extra 15,000 rupees right back in your pocket. It's a no-brainer. Okay, and then there's what I like to call the holy grail of tax efficiency. It's called EEE status. That stands for exempt, exempt, exempt. It's a triple threat. The money you invest is exempt, the interest you earn on it is exempt, and when you finally take it out, that's exempt too. The perfect example of this in action is the Public Provident Fund, or PPF. So if you're a senior citizen and you're on the old tax regime, think of these as your financial superpowers. You've got Section 80 TTB for that awesome 50,000 rupee deduction on interest. Then there's Section 80C for investments like the SCS. And here's a pro tip. Don't forget to submit Form 15H to your bank. All that does is tell them, hey, my total income is below the taxable limit, so please don't deduct any tax up front. Super important. All right, Section 4,
choosing your best fit. We've got our investment options and we've got a handle on the tax rules. So now let's put it all together and figure out which of these is the absolute best fit for you. It's all about matching the product to your specific goals.
This little table should make things crystal clear. Let's just walk through it. So if you're a senior over 60 and you need that regular monthly income coming in, well, the SCSS is your champion. That 8.20% rate with regular payouts is just unbeatable. What if you prefer growth that's completely 100% tax-free and you don't mind locking up your money for a bit? Then the PPF is your go-to. And if you're someone who needs liquidity, quick access to your cash, then a high-rate small finance bank FD is probably the smartest move. See, it's all about what you need. And now, for the really exciting part. Section 5, Building Your Income Blueprint. Let's take everything, the safe havens, the tax rules, the personal goals, and combine it all into a powerful, diversified portfolio. The goal? To create a machine that generates a steady, tax-smart income month after month. So here it is, the blueprint itself, laid out in a simple chart. We're suggesting a balanced approach. 40% into bank FDs, that's our blue slice, for that flexibility. 25% into the high-return SCSS, our green slice. Another 20% into post office FDs, also green. And that last 15%, the gold slice, goes into GSACs for that rock-solid safety. It's a really nice diversified mix. Okay, to make this super concrete, let's run the numbers. Let's imagine we're working with a 3 crore rupee portfolio for a senior citizen. And check out the result. By just allocating the money smartly using this blueprint, this portfolio can churn out roughly 1,86,000 rupees every single month. And that's after we've optimized for taxes. That, my friends, is a seriously powerful outcome. So how does this actually work? Well, it's all about being clever with the tax rules. We know that our highest earner, the SCSS, is taxable. So what do? We strategically use the high TDS limits that you get with bank and post office FDs. This way, a huge chunk of our income flows in without any tax getting cut at the source. It's all about using the system to your advantage to keep more cash in your hand. And this table is really interesting because it shows you how this strategy scales up. Look, for that 3 crore portfolio, our effective tax rate is less than 1%. That's incredible. But notice how that tax rate starts to creep up as the portfolio gets bigger? And that right there is exactly why it's so critical to build this kind of tax-efficient structure right from the beginning. So if you remember just one thing from our time together today, please let it be this. Building a successful conservative portfolio isn't about frantically chasing the single highest interest rate you can find. It's about smart, tax-efficient allocation. It's about building a system where all your investments work together in the smartest way possible. So there you have it. We've gone over the tools, the rules, and the strategy. The blueprint is officially in your hands now. The only question left is a personal one. What's the very first step you're going to take to put this blueprint to work and optimize your own financial future? Thanks so much for joining me today.